Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of On the Move Monday here on YouTube. For all of my old people, thank y'all for coming. For all of my new people who are just now checking this out, my name is Travis Hauser. I'm the owner and physical therapist of On the Move Physical Therapy and Wellness, where it's my job and it's my passion to help that active aging adult to achieve a level of physical freedom so that they're able to enjoy their life and their retirement to its fullest without having to settle for anything. And so last week, if you tuned in, guys, we talked a lot about back pain. We talked about the different sources of back pain, some of the kind of myths of back pain, and just a bunch of things in general about low back pain and what that could mean for you in your specific case. Today, I've got my camera and my table out here. It's on the verge of raining, so if this video is quick, I apologize. But I've got my table out here at a football field, or at a practice football field. And so what we're gonna go over today is I'm gonna show you a couple of stretches and one exercise, or two exercises, that I do with most of my clients with back pain. Again, that's depending on what your source of back pain is. So if you have a recent back injury, I would not say go and try to start doing these exercises, because an assessment really needs to determine your treatment and what could work for you. But if you've been struggling with back pain and you maybe have gotten an MRI, you might have gotten some muscle relaxers, you might have gotten a cortisone injection, you might have had therapy before, but you still struggle a lot with back pain, you could try these exercises because they're super simple. They might be painful, but if they are painful, I definitely recommend you seeking healthcare advice, whether that be from your doctor or your physical therapist or any other healthcare professional that can help you with your back pain. So, like I said, today I'm going to go into a couple of different stretches and a couple of different little exercises that are really good and help to strengthen and stretch the important structures that are surrounding the back. So first, the stretches are to loosen up the hips. So a lot of people always ask me, well, why do you stretch out the hips whenever it's my back that hurts? Well, because your back and your hips are actually really closely connected. And so once you can loosen up the hips, this stretch will also give you a stretch in your low back. And so that can really help to improve the muscle tension in your hips and in your back. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of the two stretches, and then we'll kind of walk through what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and what you should look for in regards to form. So the first exercise, you lay flat on your back. And so I have some people who will bend one knee. I have some people who keep both legs straight. To start off, I prefer both legs straight. And all you do is you take your knee and you bend it up towards your chest. Now, the amount of time that you hold that depends. It depends on your tolerance to the stretch. You can start off with 10 seconds, work your way up to 30 seconds. And so you should feel that here in the hip. And as your hip starts to loosen up, you should feel that across the low back. Now, the key is you want to do that on both sides. So we'll hold this stretch here. For me, I stretch my hips, so I'm really getting a stretch across the middle of my lower back. Okay, so that's stretch number one. Stretch number two is another hip stretch, and so I call that one, the one I just showed you, knee to chest. Okay, so the next one I call knee to opposite shoulder, and so that stretches another hip muscle, and you take that knee, opposite hand, and you really try to pull it across your body to where you bring it to your opposite shoulder. Now, this one you should feel more in the hip. Not many people get to where they feel this one in the back. And again, you hold that stretch start off at around 10 seconds or so, and progress to where you can hold it for 30 seconds. So, those are two quick hip stretches that I give to 90% of my back pain people. some things to look for is if you feel like you have to bend your hip and you're coming straight up with it, but you feel like your leg has to open up or your leg wants to turn, you don't need to pull it any further. You want to keep it straight in line with your same shoulder when you're doing the knee to chest. And with the other one, you really want to be able to get that foot or that knee across your body. So I'll show you kind of a modification. Some people, they'll put their other foot across their knee and then they'll pull this way. And so again, that should stretch you right into your hips. Now, the next exercise, I call it an exercise. It's really not an exercise. It's kind of an activity that I have all of my people do. Sorry guys, if y'all see me looking around, there's people walking around this track and I'm very easily distracted. But what you can do is start to incorporate this activity in all of your movements. And so it's something super simple. I'm going to show you laying down, but it's really hard to see the movement. And so then I'll do it standing up a little bit closer to the camera so you can kind of have an idea of what that movement looks like. And so basically, you lay with your knees bent, and what you want to do is try to draw your belly button into your spine. Now, I don't know if you can see the movement, so let's see. Draw my belly button into my spine. Now, you can notice that I'm still talking while I'm doing this, so that does not mean suck your belly in and hold your breath, but you just draw that belly button to your spine. I'm going to exaggerate the movement a little bit so you can see what my hips do. And so as you draw it in, your hips should start to tilt a little bit. We call that a pelvic tilt. And so you get to where you can hold that down and you incorporate that in all of your activities. So you can do it where you're sitting and you can work on belly button to spine. When you do it in sitting, you should notice that it makes you sit more upright. So it should sit more upright. And then you can do it in standing where, so let's see, I'll come a little closer. And so we're bringing belly button into spine. See, here's relaxed and belly button into spine. And so you can progress that activity to where you do it with any movement. So that could be sitting here and marching. So I'm going to hold my belly button in and I'll march. And the thing to know, the way to know that this activity is working is if you feel right on the sides, you should be able to feel your hip bones. You poke on those bones and you move in towards your belly button. And as soon as you fall off of the bone, you should feel where it's kind of soft and squishy. And then you try to bring your belly button into your spine and you should feel a muscle or something poke into your fingers. And that means that you're activating the muscle that we're trying to target. Now, by activating that muscle while you are doing any movement, that stops your back from doing a bunch of excessive movement. So I talk about bulging discs, or people talk about bulging discs a lot. And the reason discs bulge is because there's a bunch of movement. So if you think of a paper clip, so if you bend a paper clip back and forth enough times, what happens to that paper clip? It breaks, right? And so just like that, if you don't stabilize your spine and you have too much movement back and forth over and over and over again, that disc will start to crack and the stuff on the inside is what leaks out, and that's what gives you what's called a bulging disc. So by activating that muscle, it stops that excessive movement. So there's still going to be movement there, but it stops it from moving too much. And so even if you already have a bulging disc, it stops it from getting worse and it stops it from being symptomatic. And so basically by contracting that muscle with all activities, you want to get to where like you can have a conversation, or you can just lay down in bed, or whatever you're doing where you're kind of working to hold that belly button in towards your spine. And you're definitely going to start to notice a difference and a change in pain with your activity. Now, if you don't have pain, now's a perfect time to do that. Loud car pause. All right, good. And so you can hold it if you don't have pain. Contracting this muscle and teaching it before you have pain puts you at a significantly lower risk of developing back pain at some point. So those are some stretches and some exercises that you can do to really try to either prevent or help you with your back pain. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can find me on Facebook. On the Move PT and Wellness is my business page, or you can just search for my name, Travis Hauser, and you can find me there. Send me a message on either one of those, and I would be happy to talk to you and let you know, what kind of how those exercises work, or if you have any questions about how they do. So again, for my new people, this is an every Monday thing, and so next week we're going to go into a different topic, and it will be posted on Monday evening. And so if there's some topics that you want to learn about or that you have questions about from your physical therapist, please feel free to leave me a message or leave me a comment or send me a message and let me know what you want to hear about. But until next Monday, keep on moving. Have a great day.